Chapter 31. Nothing could be more wonderful. The sunlight seemed brighter, the air fresher. In this moment, a world so hostile to humans felt infinitely beautiful to Tang San. He had found his wife's reincarnated form, far sooner than he ever expected. Without wandering the continent or enduring endless trials, he had found her. What could be more wonderful than this? Xiaowu, Mei Gongzi. Inside the shop, Mei Gongzi's mother was speaking to her. Mei Gongzi glanced at Tang San, noticing his tear-streaked face, her large, beautiful eyes filled with curiosity. Her mother smiled at him, gesturing for him to drink the milk tea. Tang San's emotions gradually calmed, though his divine consciousness still trembled. His hands shook too, but he carefully avoided spilling a drop, bringing the wooden cup to his lips for a sip. A faint milk fragrance blended with tea and a hint of sweetness. The warm milk tea warmed his entire being, like his heart being filled anew. In this moment, his heart was no longer empty or adrift. He had found his fated bond once more. What could be more wonderful? For the first time, he felt a flicker of gratitude toward the wolf demons. If they hadn't barred him from the Wind Wolf ancestral house, he wouldn't have had this chance to meet Mei Gongzi. Everything was perfectly arranged. Taking another sip, Tang San wiped his tears and returned to sit under the great tree. This cup of Mei Gongzi milk tea was the best drink he'd had in this world. A faint smile spread across his face. He had found her, nothing could be more wonderful. He gazed at the milk tea shop, watching Mei Gongzi and her mother busy inside. In this life, she was human. For 9 years, Tang San had focused on cultivation, rarely pausing to think deeply. He knew he needed strength to find his wife's reincarnation. Now, his mind awakened. He had to consider how to get close to her, protect her, make her fall in love with him again, and truly be together. Nothing was more urgent. Whether you're Xiaowu or Mei Gongzi, you're destined to be my wife. A slightly surprised voice broke his thoughts. Tang San, where'd you get that drink? Startled, Tang San stood and saw Wang Yangfeng approaching, his expression suggesting the task had gone smoothly. Tang San pointed to the milk tea shop. Teacher, have you seen that shop? Their milk tea is delicious. Wang Yangfeng paused, shaking his head. This is Jiali City's core district. I rarely come here. I usually finish my tasks at the ancestral house and leave. Let's go. The monster nobles here aren't known for their good tempers. Okay, Tang San nodded, but then added, Teacher, wait a moment. He quickly ran toward the milk tea shop. Mei Gongzi was inside, sorting demon coins, while her mother had just seen off a monster customer. What's up, young man? Was the milk tea good? The woman asked as Tang San approached. Up close, Tang San felt her gentle beauty even more, her eyes radiating warmth. He pulled out his only win spirit stone demon coin and placed it on the counter. Auntie, the milk tea was great. Thank you. This is the payment. It's on the house, she said softly. You should leave. This area's monsters aren't very friendly. Auntie, I have to pay. Thank you. As he said, my name is Tang San. His eyes were on Mei Gongzi. She was turned slightly, her back to him, showing no reaction. With Wang Yangfeng calling from afar, Tang San took one last deep look at Mei Gongzi. Despite his reluctance, he hurried away. Mei Gongzi's mother watched him, surprised. With her experience, she could tell Tang San's gaze toward her daughter wasn't just admiration or infatuation. It carried a profound emotion, with tear stains at his eyes. Was this a moment of déjà vu? Back with Wang Yangfeng, Tang San finished the last of the milk tea, still clutching the empty cup, unwilling to let go, as if it held a trace of her presence. You okay? Wang Yangfeng asked with concern on the way back to the inn. Tang San had been subdued, walking behind him in a standard vassal posture, unlike his curious demeanor on the way in. I'm fine, teacher. I'm really good, truly, Tang San said, a heartfelt smile spreading across his face. Wang Yangfeng smiled back. That milk tea must have touched you deeply. In this world, despite all the malice against us, there's beauty too. Even facing daily hostility, keep a piece of beauty in your heart. Only then can you face the sun and hold on to hope. His words were heartfelt, and Tang San felt the same. With the task done, we can stay 2 more days. Want to explore? Wang Yangfeng asked, smiling. His mission had gone smoothly, the Wind Wolf clan leader approving the tribute list, ensuring a smooth report to the town's lord. Teacher, are there lively places in Jiali City? I'd like to see them, Tang San said. There are, but as I said, be cautious and stay close, Wang Yangfeng replied. No problem, Tang San agreed readily. It's been a while since I've been here. Let me ask your Aunt Wei, Wang Yangfeng said. When he told Wei he wanted to take Tang San to lively spots, she said, there are plenty of bustling places. There's one not far from here worth checking out, tonight's perfect. They're holding Jiali City's annual collision tournament. Not just city monsters participate, strong clans from nearby towns join too. What's the collision tournament? Wang Yangfeng asked curiously. Chapter 32, Collision Tournament. Wei explained, the collision tournament involves 2 participants starting 30 meters apart, charging at each other simultaneously. After the clash, the one who retreats farther loses, and the other wins. Monster tribes are grouped by tier, starting at 3rd tier up to 6th tier. It's a festival for young monsters, capped at 6th tier to avoid unnecessary casualties, as higher tier collisions can be deadly. Also, those above 6th tier aren't interested in such games. Sounds interesting, but different clans have different traits. Surely the physically robust ones have an advantage, Wang Yangfeng said with a smile. Wei nodded. I've watched once, there are some techniques involved. Let's go after dinner, we should catch the start of the tournament. Tang San and Wang Yangfeng's trip to the Wind Wolf ancestral house took over 4 hours of travel, plus time spent there, so they returned in the afternoon. Tang San had no objections to watching the tournament, especially since it featured 3rd to 6th tier monsters, aligning perfectly with his goals. After meeting Mei Gongzi, his mind became more active, driven by an urgent desire to grow stronger. Her milk tea shop was in Jiali City's core, where 8th and 9th tier monsters were common. Having found her, nothing was more important than protecting her. His current strength was far from sufficient. Through years of cultivation, Tang San had clarified the interaction between his mysterious heaven technique and monster tribe bloodline energy. The technique could absorb and convert external energy into his own, leaving bloodline imprints in his body. These imprints allowed him to replicate similar abilities by converting his energy. Stronger imprints enabled more powerful skills. The monster tribe bloodline imprints in his body acted like permits for different skill levels. To grow stronger, he needed to enhance both his mysterious heaven technique and the potency of his bloodline imprints to wield greater abilities. From his research, he'd need to cultivate this way at least until breaking through the 9th level of his technique. The fastest way to improve was to acquire more skills. In this world, humans with monster bloodlines were limited to 1 skill, but his technique's absorption bypassed this, allowing multiple skills. With strategic combinations, more skills meant greater strength. In the city's lively areas, he could blend in and seize chances to absorb low-tier monster abilities. These energies, converted into his technique's power, would accelerate his growth. Today, Tang San was the most motivated he'd been since arriving in this world. 4th tier wasn't enough, nor was 5th tier. He needed to reach 9th tier quickly to enhance his divine consciousness, rebuild his divine power, and awaken abilities from his past life unique to this world. Only then could he truly protect Mei Gongzi. After resting and eating dinner, Wei changed into relatively ornate clothing before leading Wang Yangfeng and Tang San out. Wei dressed up because this world judged by appearances. As human vassals, they weren't often targeted in big cities unless they provoke others. Monsters needed vassals for service, and humans, though weak, were the smartest among vassal clans, excelling at complex tasks. The collision tournament wasn't high level, involving only 3rd to 6th tier young monsters with modest rewards. The first place prize was 5 element coins, impressive purchasing power but not lavish for wealthy monsters. 6th tier champions received 5 element coins, 5th tier 4, 4th tier 3, and 3rd tier just 1. Other rankings received Lingxi coins. With the highest currencies being purple gold coins and Tianyu coins absent from the prizes, the tournament was more a game than a major event. Held in a plaza surrounded by shops, Tang San might have been curious about them before meeting Mei Gongzi, as they'd help him understand the monster tribe. Now, the tournament held his interest. Thousands of monsters filled the plaza, with a cleared central area guarded by Jiali City's guards, selected from various clans with at least 4th tier strength. In the monster tribe, armies were city-based, each of the 7 main cities having its own guards. Higher cultivation meant higher rank, with 4th tier being the lowest for Jiali guards, highlighting the monster and spirit tribe's immense power. Among the crowd were many vassal clans, with human vassals prominent, some trailing monsters as attendants. As night fell before the tournament began, large wooden pillars with glowing stones illuminated the plaza. The air was chaotic with so many clans, but the spiritual energy was dense. Following Gui Gui and Wang Yangfeng, Tang San reached a corner at the venue's edge where mostly vassals stood. The circular arena, about 50 meters in diameter, was cordoned off by Jiali guards. A table on one side held coins. Tang San saw element coins for the first time, each glowing with different elemental hues, striking in the night, outshining the subdued, dark silver Lingxi coins, which gave him a peculiar feeling. The collision tournament is about to begin, a booming voice announced. Chapter 33, I want to compete. The surrounding monsters erupted in deafening cheers, making Tang San feel as if he'd stepped into a beastly horde. A towering, robust figure strode into the inner circle. Standing 4 meters tall, his body radiated a ferocious aura, covered in black fur. Shirtless, he wore only tight leather pants, with a large white V-shaped fur pattern on his chest. From his appearance, Tang San deduced he was a bear demon, though he didn't know the specific clan. This is the Fierce Bear clan, a powerful branch of bear demons, second only to the Royal Bear clan. They're naturally gifted, immensely strong, and adult fierce bears are 6th tier, Gui Gui whispered. Fierce Bear clan, 6th tier as adults. Tang San noted this, marveling at the strength of these demons. The bear demon let out a roar that drowned out the crowd's cheers. At least 7th tier, Wang Yangfeng murmured. Clearly, this was an elite of the Fierce Bear clan. Collision tournament, same rules as always. The collision point is this circle beneath my feet, with its edge as the starting point for measuring retreat distance. Whoever stays closer to the edge wins, the bear demon bellowed, revealing himself as the host. Tang San noticed a 3-meter wide circle at his feet. Competitors would charge from opposite sides, colliding within it, the one pushed farther back lost. This meant faster competitors who entered the circle more would gain a slight advantage. So, it wasn't just about strength but speed too. 3rd tiers can register now, win 10 consecutive matches or face no further challengers to be today's victor, the bear demon announced, waving his hand to start the tournament. Tang San asked Wang Yangfeng, teacher, can competitors use skills during the collision, like attacking with innate abilities? Of course, Wang Yangfeng replied. The monster tribe values martial prowess. In the collision tournament, any skill is fair game as long as you win. They only care about results, not methods. Tang San nodded, pondering briefly before saying, teacher, can I register? What? Wang Yangfeng was stunned, and Gui Gui turned to him sharply. You want to compete? Gui Gui's voice rose. I want to try. There's prize money, Tang San said, pointing to the rewards on the table. Wang Yangfeng looked at Gui Gui, who frowned. Vassals can participate, but they're usually outmatched by monsters. And monsters are harsher on vassals, showing no mercy. Are you sure? Tang San nodded. I want to try. I'm confident I won't lose out, even if I don't win. Wang Yangfeng knew some of Tang San's capabilities, but in terms of strength, with skill, I can overcome force, Tang San interrupted. Since the tournament only cares about results, I have a chance. Before meeting Mei Gongzi, he'd have avoided the tournament, opting to stay low until stronger. But seeing her ignited his fighting spirit. Time was pressing, he couldn't cultivate slowly anymore. Even if it meant taking risks, he had to grow stronger quickly to protect her soon. Gui Gui whispered, it's too risky. Win or lose, it's not good. Tang San pulled a cloth from his pocket, brought from the inn. He folded it into a triangle, tied it over his face to mask his appearance, and secured it behind his head. Teacher, Aunt Wei, I'll return on my own after the match. Don't worry about me, this way, I won't be exposed, Tang San said. Wang Yangfeng considered, then said, go, but be careful. Are you registering for 3rd tier or 4th tier? 3rd tier would let you hide your strength better. 4th tier, Tang San replied. The rewards are higher. I'm going now. With that, he slipped into the crowd. You're really letting him compete? Gui Gui asked Wang Yangfeng incredulously. And 4th tier, does he really have that strength? Wang Yangfeng nodded. He's no ordinary kid. At 9, he's far steadier than his peers. Though he's only been with me a year, he always seems confident in what he does. He must have a plan. Over the year, Wang Yangfeng had taught Tang San and the others various knowledge, but Tang San had taught him much in return, significantly boosting his strength to the edge of 4th tier peak, a feat unimaginable before. His feelings toward Tang San differed from the other 4. He knew Tang San had reached 4th tier. A 9-year-old at 4th tier was rare even among gifted monsters, unheard of in the Wind Wolf clan. Tang San's talent surpassed even the Wind Wolves. As a human vassal, such talent was extraordinary, and Wang Yangfeng didn't fully grasp his disciple's current strength. Since Tang San rarely joined combat lessons, Wang Yangfeng allowed him to compete to gauge his abilities in this relatively low-risk tournament. Slipping through the crowd, Tang San had learned the reward rules. Each victory, regardless of tier, earned 1 Lingxi coin, a substantial prize for vassals. Only the final champion of each tier received element coins, with higher tiers offering more. Champions could choose element coins matching their attributes. Tang San wasn't here for the coins. His main goal was to absorb bloodline power from various monster clans during the tournament, forming new imprints. This would enhance his mysterious heaven technique and add new skills. Different skills had unique effects, and more skills meant greater versatility and strength. His Wind Wolf bloodline imprint, powering his Wind Blade, was about 4th tier, while his Flash Leopard's Leopard Flash was 3rd tier, weakened by Zhu Jiaxin's injuries when absorbed. He confirmed through Wind Wolf experiments that imprints could evolve by absorbing more of the same type. His primary aim in competing was to siphon monster bloodline power to strengthen himself. Chapter 34, the tournament begins. As Tang San lined up to register, the 3rd tier matches had already started. Being short and surrounded by a crowd, he couldn't see the arena, only hearing cheers and heavy collision sounds. The collision tournament moved quickly, both sides charged, collided, and a winner was determined. The victor could choose to continue or withdraw. Though many vassals and monsters registered, the process was swift. When Tang San's turn came, he found it almost comically simple. Numbered tags on a table indicated tiers and sequence numbers. Participants just grabbed a tag and joined the queue, no registration required. This was, after all, a casual monster entertainment event for those 6th tier and below, with minimal rules. There wasn't even a staff member at the tag table, just take one and join the queue. Once you had a tag, you had to compete, no backing out. The Jiali guards, maintaining order, snickered at Tang San's small frame as he took a tag, but they didn't stop him. He knew they were waiting to see him get crushed. The monsters ahead and behind him were massive, blocking his view. They didn't even notice the human vassal barely over a meter tall. Tang San peeked through gaps to watch the arena. The 3rd tier matches were in full swing. Blood stained the ground. A collision was underway between a young fierce bear, under 2 meters tall, and a lizard-like monster. As they collided, the lizard crouched and whipped its tail at the bear's legs. But the bear leapt into the collision circle, kicking the lizard with its hind legs, sending it flying until stopped by the guards. The crowd, especially the Fierce Bear clan, roared loudly. Victory was king in the monster tribe. This young bear was fierce, not just strong but skilled. In the following rounds, whether clashing head-on or using tactics, it dominated, winning consecutively. Tang San observed that its innate ability was likely a berserk-like power. When fully exerted, its body swelled, fur bristled, strength surged, and its brown eyes turned red. A porcupine-like monster, colliding head-on, was sent flying by the bear's shoulder, though its tusks left wounds. The porcupine was clearly outmatched in strength. Though 3rd tier, this bear's combat power rivaled 4th tier. Such was the disparity among clans, innate talents. This was Tang San's first time seeing so many monsters. He meticulously noted each clan's abilities and traits, analyzing their usefulness. He understood the link between his mysterious heaven technique and monster tribe bloodlines but was unsure how many imprints he could hold or if the number tied to his technique's level. He currently had 2 imprints, Wind Wolf transformation Wind Blade and Flash Leopard transformation Leopard Flash. Wind Blade enabled ranged attacks, while Leopard Flash boosted speed, both useful if continually enhanced. He suspected there was a limit to imprint types, though he didn't know it. He had a hypothesis but needed experiments to confirm. The 3rd tier winner was the young bear. After defeating 10 opponents, it roared in the arena's center, earning 1 element coin. The host, a fierce bear, hoisted the young bear overhead, bellowing, "This is my son. My son, see him, the 3rd tier champion." Cheers and roars shook the ground. Vassals, including humans, stayed silent or trembled in such an atmosphere. Most vassals registered for 3rd tier matches. Tang San saw at least 7 severely injured, 2 barely clinging to life. The 3rd tier matches ended, and 4th tier began. A robust pig demon strode into the arena, covered in black fur, with a massive head and a broad back, standing about 2 meters tall. Its strength was evident, with 2 thick tusks protruding, roaring fiercely. The porcupine clan had 2 rare innate abilities, as Wang Yangfeng had explained. Not all monsters had just one ability, though more didn't always mean stronger. Top monster and spirit clans often had multiple. The porcupine clan's abilities were charge and back spike. Their backs could shoot spikes, and charge was self-explanatory. Stronger porcupines had more spikes. This 4th tier porcupine had 8 spikes, which rose diagonally as it stood at one side of the arena, ready to fire. Tang San had no interest in the porcupine clan's abilities. He didn't want to be a pig, and neither charge nor back spike appealed to him. Its opponent was a flash leopard, the first Tang San saw in the tournament, absent from 3rd tier matches. Flash leopards excelled in speed, not head-on collisions, explaining their absence earlier. This 4th tier leopard was lean, about 2 meters tall, with sharp eyes glinting coldly, fangs protruding downward, and a wiry, muscular body brimming with vitality. "Begin," the fierce bear host roared. Both charged from opposite sides. The leopard moved lightning fast, reaching the collision circle almost instantly. The porcupine, charging, fired all 8 spikes, not at the leopard but in various directions, sealing off most of its dodging routes. Chapter 35, Tang San's debut, first battle on the fairy continent. The porcupine was confident in its frontal collision strength, certain it could overpower the flash leopard. Its only concern was the leopard's speed. If the leopard dodged during a full speed charge, the porcupine would overshoot, losing the match. While clans like porcupines and fierce bears were brute force contenders in the collision tournament, flash leopards represented the finesse faction. When facing a finesse opponent, strength-based contenders aimed to limit their agility. Per the rules, a collision had to occur within 3 seconds of entering the circle, with the winner determined by retreat distance. The porcupine didn't charge at full speed, relying on its tough hide to win a direct clash. Its back spike ability restricted the leopard's dodging options, boosting its confidence. The 4th tier flash leopard, unfazed by the 8 spikes, charged straight ahead, seemingly ignoring them. As long as it didn't dodge sideways, the spikes wouldn't hit. Both neared the collision circle. Purple light flickered in Tang San's eyes, his purple demon eyes slowing everything in his vision. The porcupine raised its tusks, while the flash leopard, glowing with yellow light from its leopard flash, surged forward. Their figures crossed in an instant. A loud bang rang out. The porcupine shot past the circle, while the leopard leapt straight up, flipped mid-air, and landed firmly in the circle's center. Undoubtedly, the flash leopard won. Most monsters missed what happened due to the leopard's speed, erupting in surprised cries. Tang San saw clearly. At the moment of collision, the leopard leapt just in time, grazing past the porcupine's tusks. Its hind legs stomped hard on the porcupine's back. Though the porcupine hadn't charged at full speed, its charge ability made stopping difficult. It could only slow down. Having used back spike to block dodging routes, it expected a head-on clash, but the leopard vaulted over at the leopard's kick, combined with the porcupine's momentum, sent it careening out of the circle. The leopard converted its forward thrust into upward force, landing in the circle's center with precise control, sealing the outcome. The porcupine lost due to inferior tactics, Tang San thought. If he were guiding it, he'd have advised holding the back spike until the collision moment. Even with the leopard's speed, facing 8 unpredictable spikes at close range would be dangerous. A single hit could be fatal. The porcupine failed to maximize its dual abilities, while the leopard's speed, control, and composure gave it the edge. Subsequent battles confirmed Tang San's assessment. The leopard won match after match, defeating 4 consecutive 4th tier opponents with its speed and skill. "My turn. You're dead," roared a burly rhinoceros demon with a single horn, standing at the waiting area's edge. Its greatest asset was its robust defense and charging power. Against the swift leopard, it planned to rush into the circle and stay put, nullifying the leopard's tricks with sheer resilience. But as it stepped forward, a voice interrupted, "Wait, it's not your turn yet." The nearly 3-meter-tall rhinoceros demon paused, looking down to see a small figure it hadn't noticed before. The figure's face was masked, obscuring its appearance, but its slim build marked it as human, a very small human. Get lost. The rhinoceros demon swung its hand to swat the figure away, but the figure darted into the arena, raising a tag high. 4th tier, number 6. It was Tang San's tag. He'd registered early, ranking 6th among 4th tier competitors. The leopard, number 1, had won 4 matches, and now it was Tang San's turn. The rhinoceros demon, focused on the arena, hadn't noticed Tang San behind it as Tang San entered. The crowd buzzed with shock. A human vassal in the 4th tier arena, masked no less, was astonishing. Where did this tiny human get the courage to compete? Masking wasn't unusual. Vassals, while not as vulnerable as slaves, risked death if they offended powerful monsters. But what gave him the nerve to step into this arena? The flash leopard, having won 4 matches, gleamed with ferocity, licking its fangs. Tang San's appearance excited it. After 4 victories, it was tiring. Though not a top-tier clan, each win brought it closer to the championship, as 10 consecutive wins were rare in higher tiers due to intense competition and damage. A human vassal was an easy win, saving energy and adding a victory, perfect, especially with the formidable rhinoceros demon next. The 7th tier fierce bear host eyed the leopard, then Tang San, its gaze fierce. "Teach him a lesson. Begin. Teach him. Teach him." After a brief shock, the monsters roared deafeningly. A vassal daring to enter the 4th tier arena was an insult. The leopard moved, not even using its ability, relying on raw speed to charge Tang San. Tang San moved too, cyan light flashing in his exposed eyes. His body didn't change much, but wind elements gathered, cloaking him in a faint azure glow. Wind, cyan light, he has wind wolf blood. The leopard's eyes grew fiercer. Wind wolves and flash leopards were sworn enemies, even if this was just a vassal. Among the spectators, wind wolf clan members felt humiliated. This vassal would surely lose to the leopard, shaming their clan. Chapter 36, Instant Kill. Leopard flash advances. Tang San's speed seemed slower than the flash leopard's, so when the leopard reached the collision circle, Tang San was still 5 meters away. The leopard surged past the circle without using its leopard flash, claws extended, body stretched, and fangs aimed at Tang San. In its mind, it already envisioned tearing through the human vassal's arms and chest, piercing his throat with its fangs. But then, where was he? Just as the 4th tier flash leopard thought victory was assured, Tang San vanished. Tang San performed an extraordinary move. Mid-charge, he bent backward, knees folding, sliding forward along the ground. As he slid beneath the leopard, his hands, now jade-like, extended, fingertips forming claws condensed from wind blade. The leopard's chest and abdomen, fully exposed as it lunged, were vulnerable to Tang San's claws. With two sharp, PFFT, sounds, Tang San's hands pierced the leopard's abdomen. The flash leopard wasn't built for defense, especially not its underbelly. As his hands dug in, Tang San's legs coiled upward, wrapping around the leopard's waist, his small frame mounting its back. His mysterious heaven technique surged, fully absorbing the leopard's bloodline power. His own leopard flash imprint flared brightly, as a surge of bloodline energy, converted by his technique, flooded his body. In that instant, his leopard flash imprint evolved from 3rd tier to 4th tier. The breakthrough made Tang San feel lighter, his mysterious heaven technique noticeably stronger. The leopard let out a pained wail as its abdomen was pierced, but the sound cut off abruptly. Its bloodline power was ferociously drained, and the next moment, a wind blade erupted within its abdomen. Tang San had no intention of letting it live. Flash leopards, alongside wind wolves, were ideal for his absorption. Taking too much risk detection, so silencing the opponent ensured he could fully absorb the power. The spectating monsters, seeing the leopard pounce and Tang San vanish, assumed he was crushed beneath it, cheering excitedly. The leopard's agonized cry snapped them back to reality. The scream stopped, blood spraying from the leopard's mouth. Tang San rolled out from under it, shaking his hands clean. Under all eyes, he walked calmly to the collision circle center. The 4th tier flash leopard lay motionless on the ground. Silence gripped the arena. No monster could have imagined this outcome. A human vassal killing a 4th tier flash leopard. Impossible. Even after 4 matches, the leopard hadn't used its leopard flash. How could it die? Yet the truth was undeniable. The small human had killed it. Under the bright lights, all eyes focused on the diminutive figure. A chill inexplicably crept into the monster's hearts. A woo. A wolf howl shattered the silence. A massive wind wolf, over 2.5 meters tall, strode forward, howling at Tang San. Well done, worthy of our wind wolf blood. The 5th tier wind wolf's eyes gleamed with joy. Had Tang San killed another clan's member, even using wind wolf skills, the clan wouldn't have cared. But he'd killed a flash leopard, their sworn enemy. In that moment, they overlooked his vassal status. Shame turned to elation. Nothing thrilled them more than a dead flash leopard. A woo. A massive flash leopard suddenly leapt toward Tang San in a circle. Its speed was blinding, yellow light flashing as leopard flash activated, reaching Tang San almost instantly, far faster than the previous leopard. The 5th tier wind wolf, still praising Tang San, couldn't react in time to stop it. At that moment, a massive palm swept through the air, slamming into the speeding figure. With a bang, the attacking leopard was sent flying, crashing into the monster crowd. The 4-meter-tall 7th tier fierce bear stood beside Tang San, eyes glinting fiercely, its huge hand lowering. A loss is a loss. Follow the rules. Want revenge? Wait until after the match. Tang San silently withdrew his half-stepped right foot, his ghost shadow perplexing step ready, along with leopard flash. The attacker was a 5th tier flash leopard. Against such speed, he wasn't fully confident. The fierce bear's intervention resolved the crisis. Watching from afar, Wang Yangfeng and Gui Gui's hearts were in their throats. Gui Gui turned to Wang Yangfeng, her hand gripping his arm, nails digging in. Brother, is this the disciple you taught? A monster, a 4th tier flash leopard, killed in one exchange. A human vassal doing this. Wang Yangfeng, dazed, muttered, who am I? Where am I? Who is he? In the arena's center, Tang San looked up at the towering 7th tier fierce bear, its shoulder bearing the 3rd tier champion young bear, who peered curiously at him. Does the match continue? Tang San asked, his voice tinged with youth. The fierce bear lowered its head. Continue. Chapter 37, Heavy Armor Technique. Tang San took a deep breath, feeling the surging energy of his blood and mysterious heaven technique. His next opponent had entered the arena. The rhinoceros demon, the same one that had overlooked Tang San earlier, assuming it was its turn. Under the 7th tier fierce bear's suppression, the arena had quieted considerably. The flash leopard that had been swatted away stood up, glaring at Tang San. In today's tournament, the 4th tier flash leopard was the first monster to die. Vassal deaths were never noted by the monsters. A wind wolf vassal killing a 4th tier flash leopard was a humiliating blow to the flash leopard clan. Some lower tier leopards had already left to report the news. Tang San had no time to dwell on the flash leopard clan's thoughts. Wang Yangfeng and Gui Gui were beginning to understand why he masked his face. The rhinoceros demon let out a low growl, dropping to all fours, its right hind leg pawing the ground, its aura growing denser. A dark yellow glow enveloped it, its heavy armor technique, a signature ability of the rhinoceros clan, renowned for its top tier defense among monsters. Few clans could match a rhinoceros in a frontal collision. This 4th tier rhinoceros was a favorite to win the 4th tier bracket. With a sudden roar, its horn glowed brilliantly, and it charged at Tang San with immense force. Tang San charged too, his speed unchanged from his clash with the flash leopard, cyan light swirling around him, exuding the wind wolf clan's aura. As they closed in, Tang San raised his hand, firing 2 cyan wind blades that arced gracefully through the air toward the rhinoceros. The rhinoceros saw the flash of light but noticed the blades veered to the sides. Confused, its eyes suddenly widened as cyan light filled its vision. The arcing wind blades targeted its eyes, timed perfectly with its speed and stance. Both were nearing the collision circle. The rhinoceros snorted, breaking with its 4 limbs, sliding toward the circle by inertia while closing its eyes. It didn't believe Tang San's wind blades could pierce its heavy armor technique, even at its eyes, one of its weakest points. But Tang San only needed it to close its eyes. The wind blade struck its eyelids. Despite the armor, the rhinoceros felt a sharp sting, roaring in anger. Tang San leapt, a wind blade in hand, initially cyan but condensing as wind energy gathered, turning dark green. The rhinoceros, eyes stinging and head raised, struggled to regain vision, relying on memory to slide into the circle. Tang San's small frame floated down toward its raised head, his dark green wind blade thrusting at its eye again. Simultaneously, his other hand pressed onto the rhinoceros's head. Roar. Close inspection would reveal the rhinoceros's eyelid caving under the dark green wind blade. Its heavy armor technique was formidable, but as a 4th tier, far from the clan's strongest, its defense was limited to fusing with its tough hide, not projecting energy outward. Tang San's wind blade, compressed to a razor-sharp point, targeted the eye, its most vulnerable spot. The blade shattered, dispersing into green specks. The rhinoceros roared in near-mad agony, rearing up, ignoring the collision rules. In pain, it charged wildly, aiming to crush its opponent with its strongest attack. But Tang San had already floated upward, landing steadily in the circle's center. Unnoticed by all, when his hand touched the rhinoceros's head, a yellow flash vanished, his mysterious heaven technique rapidly restoring the energy spent on the wind blade. Still, he was inwardly shocked. That strike was merciless, not his strongest but highly penetrating. Though the rhinoceros's eye was badly injured, it wasn't blinded, showing the heavy armor technique's incredible defense. The 7th tier fierce bear's massive hand shot out, grabbing the charging rhinoceros's horn. With a shout, it lifted the beast overhead and slammed it to the ground, knocking it unconscious. Useless. Take it away. Can't even beat a vassal. The fierce bear sneered, tinged with anger. 2 consecutive wins. Tang San had defeated a 4th tier flash leopard and a 4th tier rhinoceros demon, using tactics. Stronger monsters saw it wasn't just skill, his timing and composure were key to victory. Gui Gui's emotions were complex. During the first match, she feared for Tang San's safety. Now, she wanted to ask Wang Yangfeng, where did you find this little monster? Wind wolf's wind blade, just a wind blade, and at 4th tier, knowing Tang San's real age, 9 years old, reaching 4th tier, was unheard of among humans. Wang Yangfeng was stunned. He knew Tang San was strong. A year ago, at 3rd tier, Tang San had bested him. But this level of strength was beyond his imagination. With a roar, Tang San's 3rd opponent entered. Compared to the rhinoceros, this one was smaller, about 1.5 meters tall. Notably, it had wings with a 2-meter span, and its sharp, narrow eyes gleamed. Likely an eagle or falcon-type demon. Tang San recalled this wasn't the next in line behind him, it was from further back, likely sent early to counter him. After 2 wins, the monster saw his agility and skill. Bulky demons struggled against him, so they sent a fast-winged eagle demon to exploit flight and technique. A vassal winning repeatedly was an insult to the competing monsters. Tang San didn't need to think hard to understand their mindset. An eagle, huh, he smirked. Chapter 38, White-Headed Falcon Demon. This was a white-headed falcon demon, a rare clan among the monster tribe known for their flight speed and endurance. Their combat strength wasn't exceptional, but their flight and reconnaissance abilities were unmatched. Their eyes could detect minute changes from miles away, making them the best scouts among monsters. The white-headed falcon demon had clearly been sent under higher-tier monsters, orders to counter Tang San's agility. A true wind wolf wouldn't fear a white-headed falcon demon, as they combined wind blade with physical strength. But as a vassal, Tang San's slight frame, while fast, was presumed weaker in defense, making the falcon's speed and scouting ideal to defeat him. Most monsters attributed the flash leopard's death to its carelessness. Begin. At the 7th tier Fierce Bear's command, the falcon beat its wings, soaring into the air in a blink, its eyes flashing white as its innate ability activated, locking onto Tang San. If Tang San were in its position, he'd see everything slowed and sharpened. The falcon could discern the slightest muscle twitches, even Tang San's eyelashes trembling. Tang San stood still, not charging, his hands relaxed at his sides, cyan light flickering at his fingertips. The falcon climbed to 100 meters. Then, it dove, wings folding and adjusting to control its angle. Its forte was aerial maneuverability. It sought Tang San's weakness, ready to strike decisively once found. In its eyes, Tang San was already dead. Then, Tang San moved, springing forward toward the collision circle. He looked up at the falcon. Their eyes met, white light in the falcon's, purple in Tang San's. That fleeting purple flash caused the falcon's mind to blank briefly, as if struck by a mental shock, plunging it into momentary disorientation. As Tang San leapt into the collision circle, his arms swung upward, each hand releasing 2 wind blades aimed at the falcon. The falcon, dazed by the purple light, snapped back just as the sharp wind blades approached. True to its evasive prowess, it twisted, narrowly dodging the first 2 blades. Its wings spread to slow its descent, claws extending to catch the other 2. The brief lapse cost it timing. Planning to ascend and attack again, it was caught off guard. Tang San, having used purple demon eyes, wouldn't give it another chance. The 2 dodged wind blades curved back, chasing from behind, while the 2 it tried to grab exploded. The 2 blades split into 4, accelerating and slashing the falcon's slender body. Though its feathers absorbed much of the impact, both were 4th tier, and the blades weren't easily resisted. The 2 returning blades struck its back, eliciting a scream as it plummeted. Tang San's hands shot out, one grabbing its thin neck, the other its chest. Spinning midair, he flung the falcon away. With a bang, it crashed, unconscious. 3 consecutive wins. Tang San landed steadily in the collision circle. If the first win was luck and the second exploited a weakness, what was 3 in a row? The monster's gazes shifted. When had a human vassal shown such combat experience and skill? The white-headed falcon was chosen to counter him, yet it failed miserably, unable to dodge the wind blades mid-dive. The monster saw it as the falcon's error, unaware of its cause. The 7th tier Fierce Bear frowned, staring at Tang San as he quietly moved to the arena's edge for the next match. Next, rules were rules. Though the monster tribe followed jungle law, strength ruled, they maintained order in main cities. Even as a vassal, Tang San could only be challenged within the rules, no mob attacks or higher tier bullying. Just wind wolf bloodline power, yet such combat strength. Tang San's 4th opponent entered, the one originally scheduled before the falcon's interruption. It was a deer demon, with branching antlers, a robust frame, and calm eyes lacking the usual monster ferocity. Its gaze held a glimmer of light. Its fur was striking, pale blue with clusters of white. A Lingxi deer demon. Tang San's heart stirred. Wang Yangfeng had described them. They were unique, their blue fur rare among monsters, especially for deer demons. Deer demons were a mid-tier clan in numbers. Lingxi deer demons weren't their royal clan and weren't strong, but their innate ability was extraordinary. Called Lingxi Heart Eye, it granted exceptional perception. The Lingxi metal, used for Lingxi coins, was discovered by them. These coins enhanced focus and cultivation. Named after them, the coins reflected their discovery. Lingxi deer demons were rare but held higher status than their royal clan. Their heart eye saw what others couldn't, sensing fortune, danger, and treasures with powerful mental strength. Though weak in combat, they were welcomed by all monster clans, often found among great clans. Chapter 39, Escaping the Fight. Tang San hadn't expected to face a Lingxi deer demon in the collision tournament. The deer's eyes glowed with a faint blue light. As its gaze locked onto Tang San, he felt a sensation of being seen through. In the next moment, the Lingxi deer demon's eyes showed confusion. Using its Lingxi Heart Eye, it saw Tang San's weaknesses and sensed something unusual. It felt his blood energy was unusually strong for his small frame, and an inexplicable unease stirred within, unsettling its usually calm demeanor. Begin. The 7th tier Fierce Bear roared. The Lingxi deer demon wasn't sent earlier because it wasn't adept at combat. In the tournament, it was here for fun, driven by its intense curiosity, a trait that often led to danger, prompting most Lingxi deer demons to seek protection from stronger clans. This time, Tang San took the initiative, springing forward swiftly toward the deer. The deer lowered its head, charging at Tang San. In that instant, its perception confirmed that this human vassal bore no malice, suggesting the collision would be safe. They closed the distance rapidly. The deer's charge was straightforward, though sturdy, its combat prowess paled compared to Tang San's previous 3 opponents. After those battles, no one believed the deer could defeat this seemingly miraculous wind wolf vassal. As they neared collision, Tang San leapt, his hands circling and pulling, positioning himself before the deer. The deer felt its antlers tugged by something. In the next instant, Tang San was atop its head, one hand pressing down. A surge of intense fear gripped the deer, prompting it to thrash its head instinctively. Tang San's body was flung outward, while the deer's front legs buckled, nearly collapsing. It barely steadied itself, dazed. Tang San flipped midair, landing unsteadily, stumbling back a few steps before stabilizing. The Lingxi deer demon, now at the collision circle's center, stood upright, pointing at itself in confusion. I won. The 7th tier Fierce Bear looked stunned. Those expected to win had lost, and now this unlikely victor had triumphed. Since when was a Lingxi deer demon this strong, flinging the human away? Or was the human exhausted from prior fights? As the monsters gaped at the deer, Tang San darted to the prize table, grabbed 3 Lingxi coins, and slipped into the crowd. Some monsters tried to grab him, curious about the masked figure, but Tang San moved like a fish through water, using Ghost Shadow perplexing step to vanish in moments. His 3 wins followed by a loss to the Lingxi deer demon. Time to escape. Seeing Tang San lose and flee, Wang Yangfeng and Gui Gui exhaled in relief. Not daring to linger, they retreated, blending into the crowd and leaving quickly. For the monsters continuing the tournament, only the Flash Leopard clan remained furious, while the Wind Wolves were elated. Others didn't react much. Tang San, exiting the crowd, sprinted, his sharp memory guiding him through familiar paths. Avoiding Wang Yangfeng and Gui Gui, he stuck to dark corners, heading straight to the inn. Less than a minute after he left, several Flash Leopards, glowing yellow, passed where he'd been, sniffing for his scent. Their efforts were futile. Tang San masked his aura simply by switching his Wind Wolf bloodline imprint to Flash Leopards. With his bloodline aura altered, the leopards couldn't track him. Continuing the tournament could yield more wins. In a contest favoring strength, 4th tier monsters would struggle to beat him. He'd been restrained today. Had he gone all out, the white-headed falcon and rhinoceros might not have survived. During his 3rd match, he noticed Flash Leopards leaving the arena. Having achieved his goal, he used the clash with the Lingxi deer demon to escape. Fleeing swiftly, Tang San checked for pursuers, a faint smile curving his lips. Success, his main objectives were achieved. Back at the inn, he returned to his room, removed his mask, and peered out the window. Soon, Wang Yangfeng and Gui Gui returned. They rushed to his room. Before Gui Gui could speak, Tang San handed her Lingxi coin. Aunt Wei, for you. Gui Gui froze. Her unusually housed poor human vassals, often unable to pay, let alone with rare Lingxi coins. The sight of the finely crafted coin silenced her intended scolding. Tang San handed another to Wang Yangfeng. Teacher, sorry for worrying you. Wang Yangfeng took the coin, his mouth twitching. You're too bold, killing that flash leopard. Tang San feigned fear. I didn't mean to kill it, I just raised my, and it happened. Teacher, will there be trouble? Seeing Tang San's fearful expression, Wang Yangfeng relaxed slightly. A 9-year-old staying calm after killing a monster would be unnatural. You escaped fast. When we left, many leopards had arrived, Wang Yangfeng said, still shaken. Tang San asked, will it affect other human vassals? Wang Yangfeng shook his head. No, different vassals belong to different clans, protected by their patrons. When we left, flash leopards and wind wolves were already clashing. The core conflict is between those two. Good, Tang San sighed in relief. Chapter 40, Changes in Bloodline Imprints. Wang Yangfeng looked deeply at Tang San and said to Gui Gui, go rest, but keep an eye on the door tonight. It's probably fine, but we should stay cautious. Alright, I'll check the front. You two should rest early. Honestly, you should leave tomorrow. Even with the mask, Tang San's build is noticeable, Gui Gui said quietly. I know, Wang Yangfeng nodded. After Gui Gui left, he turned to Tang San, his tone serious. Why were you so reckless at the tournament? You're usually not like this. You're the youngest of the 5, but always the steadiest. Why so impulsive today? Don't you know how dangerous that was? Tang San lowered his head, silent. Speak. Wang Yangfeng's frustration flared. Watching Tang San fight, his heart had been in his throat, especially when Tang San killed the flash leopard. It looked like Tang San was pinned under the leopard, and Wang Yangfeng thought it was over. Yet, Tang San won 3 matches, defeating the heavily armored rhinoceros and the sharp-eyed white-headed falcon. Wang Yangfeng doubted he could have done better himself. Tang San murmured, teacher, the milk tea was so good, I wanted to earn some. Milk tea. Wang Yangfeng froze, looking at the child with his head bowed. His heart clenched. Just for milk tea. A wave of indescribable sorrow hit him. He realized the boy before him was only 9, raised among slaves, treated no better than livestock by monsters. That milk tea was likely a rare taste of warmth. A human child risked his life for a cup of milk tea. It was sweet and fragrant, Tang San said softly, head still down. Wang Yangfeng took a deep breath, stepped forward, and pulled Tang San into a tight embrace. Tang San's mind flashed to meeting Mei Gongzi that day, the milk tea cup still on his bedside, touched by her hands. Don't do such foolish things again. If you want milk tea, tell me, I'll buy it for you, Wang Yangfeng said, his voice no longer stern but soft, almost choking. Tang San's heart trembled, memories of his past life's father surfacing. Unlike this life, his previous one had been happier, with a powerful father by his side in danger. Wang Yangfeng's embrace echoed that paternal warmth. Sorry, teacher, I won't be impulsive again. I worried you, Tang San apologized sincerely. Had he not met Mei Gongzi, he wouldn't have been so moved or acted so rashly. But seeing her, he couldn't restrain his emotions. Today was his happiest day in this world, he found his reincarnated love. Now, Wang Yangfeng's fatherly care warmed him further. He'd expected a scolding from both, not this embrace. Wang Yangfeng patted his head. Forget today happened. You're gifted and will go far. Rest now, I'll check on your Aunt Wei. If tonight's calm, it should be fine. Okay, Tang San agreed. Wang Yangfeng patted his shoulder and left. Tang San noticed he'd left the Lingxi coin on the bed. What a good teacher, Tang San thought, his heart warming. Extinguishing the light, Tang San sat cross-legged on his bed, calming his mind to sense his surging mysterious heaven technique. The 4 battles were crucial. Fighting only 4 rounds and escaping was planned. The first, killing the flash leopard and absorbing nearly all its bloodline power, was to enhance his leopard flash. Leopard Flash's instant acceleration was vital, offering more combat flexibility. 4th tier was a leap beyond 3rd tier, like his wind blade, which could be far stronger if not restrained publicly. Upgrading Leopard Flash to 4th tier boosted his overall strength. In the next 3 matches, he absorbed small amounts of bloodline power from the rhinoceros, white-headed falcon, and Lingxi deer, forming faint imprints, likely 3rd tier. Y3, to increase his skill count and test how many imprints his mysterious heaven technique could hold. He hypothesized that each tier of his technique might allow 1 imprint, 1 demon transformation skill. But this needed verification. With Wind Blade and Leopard Flash already, adding 3 at 4th tier made 5. If all 3 imprinted, his hypothesis was wrong. If only 2 could, it was correct, guiding his future cultivation. The result surprised him. The 3 new bloodline powers didn't imprint. They floated in his technique like colored orbs, waiting. He sensed he could imprint all 3 his abilities, but his existing Wind Blade and Leopard Flash felt stirred, becoming active. What did this mean? Tang San was puzzled. Why did his original imprints become unstable with the new energies? This was a first in his cultivation here. Rather than worry, he felt excited. Neither Wind Blade nor Leopard Flash were powerful, with limited growth potential. The worst scenario was being stuck with these limited imprints if his total was capped, binding him until he reached God tier. Chapter 41, Fusion Imprints. The worst case scenario would be if Tang San were stuck with a limited number of imprints, forced to tolerate Wind Blade and Leopard Flash, developing them to suit his needs. These 2 skills had opened the door to understanding this world system, so he was prepared to work with them if necessary, enhancing their utility. But now, with 3 new bloodline imprints, the previously stable Wind Blade and Leopard Flash imprints had become unsteady, as if ready to detach from his bloodline. This discovery thrilled him. It suggested his mysterious heaven technique, combined with this world's skills, held more possibilities than he'd realized, though the specifics were unclear. Tang San didn't rush to manipulate the 5 imprints, instead quietly observing their differences and their connection to his body. Among the 5, Wind Blade and Leopard Flash were larger and brighter. Leopard Flash, after its upgrade, though not as strong as Wind Blade, had improved significantly. The other 3, Rhinoceros Demon's Heavy Armor Technique, White-Headed Falcon Demon's Eagle Eye, and Lingxi Deer Demon's Lingxi Hard Eye, were around 3rd tier, as Tang San could absorb more during battle without exposing his devouring ability. The 2 4th tier imprints, fused with his bloodline, were vivid, while the 3 new ones floated outside his system, held by his mysterious heaven technique. After observing, Tang San noted the imprints were stable. Even the 3 unfused ones stayed within range, showing no signs of dissipating, a curious phenomenon. He circulated his mysterious heaven technique, forming a vortex in his dantian. The 2 fused skills rotated within it, as if part of it, while the 3 new imprints hovered above, drawn by the vortex but not integrated, as he hadn't guided them to fuse. His observation paid off. He sensed the new imprints, though unfused, were nourished by his technique, absorbing energy to sustain themselves. With a thought, Tang San used his mental strength to sever the connection with the Rhinoceros Demon's imprint. It trembled, fading visibly. He quickly channeled his technique's energy into it, and it regained clarity. He concluded that these imprints, granting skills, relied on his technique's energy. Using them converted his energy, and severing the connection would make them vanish. Sustaining them kept them intact. Could he switch between fused and unfused skills? He tested this by guiding the Leopard Flash imprint to detach from his bloodline. As he did, his technique's vortex grew turbulent. With stable mental strength, he proceeded cautiously, observing changes. He noticed the Leopard Flash imprint's light dimmed as it was pulled, its recently enhanced power weakening. Undeterred, Tang San continued. Understanding the relationship between his technique and these imprints was more crucial than Leopard Flash, which he could reabsorb if needed. Finally, Leopard Flash separated fully, dropping to third tier, hovering with the other three above the vortex, rotating silently. It worked. Fused imprints could be detached and replaced. Tang San was elated. This meant he wouldn't be hindered by a poor skill choice. However, his idea of freely switching skills was flawed. Detaching lowered the skills tier, making such actions risky at higher tiers, where advancing was harder. Wind Blade couldn't be detached lightly, tied to his Wind Wolf vassal identity, so he tested with Leopard Flash. Observing the 4 hovering imprints, he began fusing them. Leopard Flash's return was smooth, likely due to prior fusion, rejoining the vortex instantly but remaining third tier, its lost level unrestored. Next was Heavy Armor Technique. Its fusion was slower. Tang San felt his bloodline thicken, his physical strength increasing. Did imprints carry not just skills but their bloodline traits? He hadn't noticed this with Wind Blade or Leopard Flash, possibly because the Rhinoceros Demon's bloodline was stronger. Then came the White-Headed Falcon's imprint. As it fused, a cool sensation filled his eyes, similar to the Rhinoceros's effect, benefiting his body. If stronger bloodlines enhanced fusion benefits, this was great news. Chapter 42, Devouring and Merging, updated to this point. The realization that fusing bloodline imprints could enhance his physical attributes, potentially granting bear-like strength, leopard-like speed, or horse-like endurance, excited Tang San. These were direct boosts to his physical capabilities. He began fusing the final bloodline imprint, the most critical test. This was his 5th imprint, exceeding his current tier. Success would mean his imprint limit wasn't capped at his tier, and with the ability to detach imprints, more fusions would comprehensively strengthen him. If he hit a limit later, he could replace weaker imprints with stronger ones. Having seen Heavy Armor Technique and Eagle Eye improve his body, Tang San hoped his initial guess, that each tier allowed 1 imprint, was wrong, eager to successfully fuse the Lingxi Deer Demon's Lingxi Hard Eye. Lingxi Hard Eye enhanced perception, a rare and valuable skill, potentially more precious than direct combat abilities. As a former God King, Tang San's judgment proved correct. When he tried fusing the Lingxi Deer Demon's imprint into his mysterious heaven technique, the vortex within him felt full, with the 4 existing imprints glowing. As the Lingxi imprint began to merge, it met strong resistance, the vortex pushing it out. As expected, his hypothesis was correct. Each tier allowed 1 additional imprint, not unlimited fusion. Tang San wasn't disappointed, clarifying this was his priority. Testing 3 new skills confirmed his theory, guiding his future cultivation. If it didn't work now, he could take his time. Nourishing the Lingxi imprint only slightly slowed his progress, allowing him to decide later which to keep or replace. Just as he was about to abandon the fusion, one of the 4 imprints in his vortex trembled. A sudden suction force emerged, pulling the resisted Lingxi imprint toward it. This was, Tang San's tension was one of excitement, not anxiety. He didn't interfere, focusing his mental strength to observe. The pulling imprint was the White-Headed Falcon Demon's. It emitted a force, as if trying to devour the Lingxi imprint, though it struggled. The Lingxi imprint resisted fiercely, unwilling to be consumed. Simultaneously, Tang San felt his mysterious heaven technique energy draining rapidly. The White-Headed Falcon's imprint was absorbing his energy to aid its devouring of the Lingxi imprint. Given their tiers, the Lingxi Deer Demon's bloodline likely outranked the Falcon's, requiring his technique's energy to assist. Most crucially, they could merge. No fusion occurred with the stronger Wind Wolf or Flash Leopard imprints, nor the Rhinoceroses. Only the Falcons reacted. Eagle Eye and Hard Eye could similar imprints merge. Was this mutation or hybridization? Intrigued, Tang San refrained from interfering, allowing the Falcon's imprint to draw his energy while he restored it through his technique. The Falcon's imprint consumed heavily, depleting a third of his 4th tier energy quickly. Yet, a third of the Lingxi imprint had been pulled into the Falcon's. The Falcon's imprint grew brighter, though its tier didn't rise, just its intensity. The Lingxi imprint was emerald green, the Falcon's white. As they merged, the Falcon's imprint turned pale cyan, deepening toward case closer to the Wind Wolf's color but brighter. Fascinating. As the Falcon's imprint grew stronger, its devouring sped up when Tang San's energy was 2/3 depleted. The Lingxi imprint fully merged, forming a cyan imprint with faint white airflow on its surface. This wasn't mere devouring. Eagle Eye had likely gained aspects of Lingxi Hard Eye, as the color change suggested mutation, not dominance. Restoring his energy, Tang San reflected on the night's gains. The harvest was immense. He'd confirmed his imprint limit and discovered imprints could merge and evolve. As a reborn God King, this new world was unfamiliar, but finding its rules allowed him to progress, leveraging his abilities. Understanding the imprint technique relationship was more vital than new skills or cultivation gains. It set his future path. Imprints weren't fixed, they could be detached, albeit at the cost of a tier. From 2 skills to 4, one emerged hybrid, his strength had soared. The night passed quietly, with no flash leopards or wind wolves visiting the inn. The tournament's aftermath didn't concern Tang San, Wang Yangfeng, or Gui Gui. At dawn, Tang San awoke from meditation, his daily routine. Opening the window, he gazed at the faint light on the horizon, circulating his technique to practice purple demon eyes during the morning's purple chi. A faint purple glow appeared in his eyes. Suddenly, his pupils contracted, his vision magnified, the horizon seeming closer. A purple chi emerged on the horizon, purple chi from the east. Chapter 43, Lingxi Hard Eye. Tang San felt a warmth in his eyes as his magnified vision seemed to instantly connect with the purple chi. More purple chi flowed into his eyes, making them burn. He quickly closed them, channeling his mental strength to control and fuse the influx of purple chi. This change was extraordinary, warming his entire body. As he sensed the shift in his purple demon eyes, he realized this was likely due to the fusion of Eagle Eye and Lingxi Hard Eye, greatly enhancing his vision. Could he use this new skill to cultivate purple demon eyes? No, that was too risky. The brief surge of purple chi was already several times his usual intake, boosting his cultivation efficiency. Using the skill might draw even more, potentially overwhelming his eyes and risking blindness. With 3 lifetimes of experience, Tang San was no reckless fool. After a moment's thought, he decided against it. Absorbing other clans, bloodline powers offered more benefits than he'd imagined. It strengthened his body. His increased strength came from the Rhinoceros Demon's heavy armor technique. This world, once distasteful to him, now felt wondrous. After a while, he fully absorbed the purple chi, noting a slight improvement in his purple demon eyes, equivalent to 5 or 6 days of normal cultivation. The sun had risen, its light gentle to his eyes despite being harsh to others. The purple chi dissipated, ending his morning practice. If he couldn't use his new ability to cultivate purple demon eyes, what would happen if he activated it during their use? With a thought, Tang San closed his eyes and triggered the cyan imprint. Cyan light flared, consuming a tenth of his mysterious heaven technique energy. Instantly, his senses sharpened. Everything around him became vivid. Birdsong and insect hums felt close. Something intangible resonated with his perception. He sensed the 2 Lingxi coins on the table, their faint energy aligning with his senses. Opening his eyes, 2 purple beams shot out half a foot, transforming his vision. He saw a colorful world. The sky was composed of countless hues, cyan dots of wind, red for fire, blue for water, green for life, orange for light, and white for pure spiritual energy. The world seemed deconstructed into its elemental essence. With a thought, wind stirred. Cyan wind elements surged toward him. He instinctively extended his hand, and they gathered in his palm, forming a spinning whirlwind. He could see and sense elements now. The fused Eagle Eye and Lingxi Hard Eye had birthed a new Lingxi Hard Eye, amplifying his purple demon eye's power. In that moment, Tang San judged that among his 4 skills, the strongest wasn't the ranged wind blade, the speed-boosting leopard flash, or the defensive heavy armor technique, but this Lingxi Hard Eye. It lasted 30 seconds before fading, leaving his eyes sore and teary. What a remarkable ability. Lingxi Hard Eye was one he prioritized enhancing. Its current utility was clear, and its potential at higher tiers was immense. A knock sounded. Tang San turned to see Wang Yangfeng enter, who paused, startled. Why are you crying? Nothing, just the sunlight, Tang San said, wiping his tears. Wang Yangfeng studied him, sensing a change, especially in Tang San's deeper eyes. We need to leave. Your Aunt Wei checked. After yesterday's tournament, the Flash Leopards and Wind Wolves fought, quelled by Jiali guards. Both clans are hunting for you. Even with your mask, your build stands out. Got it, Tang San nodded. His actions were impulsive, bringing benefits but also risks. Leaving Jiali City quickly was best. Suddenly, he glanced out the window toward a direction, longing to see her again before leaving. But it wasn't possible. Wait for me, Mei Gongzi. I'll return soon. Jiali City Central District. Mei Gongzi was preparing milk tea ingredients in dozens of cups, about to brew tea, when she paused, frowning slightly. What's wrong, Xiao Mei? Sun Qin, her mother, asked with concern. Nothing, Mom. Just a sudden heart flutter. Not sure why. Mei Gongzi shook her head lightly. Sun Qin approached, stroking her daughter's hair. If you're not feeling well, rest. I can handle things. I'm fine, really. Mei Gongzi smiled, resuming her work. The shop bustled with monsters buying milk tea, selling hundreds of cups daily, yielding decent profits after costs. By evening, a girl working there took over. Rest, I've got this, she said. Thanks, Xiao Shui, Mei Gongzi replied with a smile. Xiao Shui winked, nodding toward the back. Mei Gongzi understood, nodding lightly before turning to leave. As she did, her aura subtly shifted. Chapter 44, returning home. Tang San and Wang Yangfeng left Jiali City smoothly. Gui Gui drove a cart, taking them out of the city. Only when they were far from the city gates did she let them off. Her gaze toward Tang San was complex. His talent far surpassed ordinary vassals. But was this truly good for Wang Yangfeng? For vassals like them, Tang San, Gui Gui called. Aunt Wei, she sighed softly. You're the most gifted and outstanding human vassal I've seen. But you must understand, in this world, the monster and spirit tribes rule. Their strength is beyond our resistance. The humans who survive as vassals endure countless hardships. Remember, only by living do you have a chance. We can't see the future yet, but if you want to do something for humanity, you must preserve yourself. Understand? Yes, I understand, Tang San nodded. Gui Gui looked at him deeply. I hope you truly do, brother. This applies to you too. Protect him and watch him. Don't let yesterday's recklessness happen again. You won't always be so lucky. Wang Yangfeng nodded silently. Don't come back to Jiali City for a while. Wait until you're older, at least taller, Gui Gui said to Tang San. He glanced toward the city, his heart tied to someone special there. Could he stay away? Bidding farewell to Gui Gui, Tang San and Wang Yangfeng set off. On the road, Wang Yangfeng said little, unlike Gui Gui's earlier lecture. Only when they turned onto the path to Wind Wolf Town did he speak. Teacher, Tang San said, turning to him. I thought you were still young, needing time to mature, Wang Yangfeng said. But after this, I see you're not a child. You're steadier than I imagined. So why were you so impulsive? Teacher, I want to grow stronger faster, Tang San replied. I want fewer tragedies for humanity. Wang Yangfeng nodded. Many enlightened humans want this. But Gui Gui's right, we're too weak. The monster and spirit tribe's power is beyond your imagination. Tang San shook his head. No, you're wrong. I can imagine their strength. But does their power mean we do nothing? If we do nothing, humans will always be slaves. In wisdom, we surpass them. So why are our people enslaved, even eaten, by them? Wang Yangfeng said, because the heavens don't favor us, we have wisdom but no talent. No, Tang San countered. It's not that we lack talent, but that we haven't found how to align with this world. Wang Yangfeng was stunned. He'd heard similar words before. Tang San, teacher, I don't believe one person can change humanity's fate, Tang San said earnestly. Only humans themselves can. We need to find how we fit with this world to grow stronger. It may take generations, but with effort, we'll find a way. When he first arrived, even as a former god king, he felt fear and helplessness. But as he learned more, he saw this world's potential. Humans hadn't found their path yet. In his previous life on Douluo continent, soul beasts were formidable, yet humans awakened martial souls, becoming soul masters, eventually dominating. The fairy continent was like an early Douluo continent. In millennia, humans might find their strength to overcome the monster and spirit tribes. Though harder here, hope wasn't lost. Perhaps his rebirth was meant to bring that hope. Wang Yangfeng smiled. I meant to convince you, but I feel swayed. I hope you find that path. Until then, stay low. Don't repeat these words to anyone. Yes, Tang San nodded. Back in Wind Wolf Town, life resumed. Tang San went home while Wang Yangfeng reported to the town's lord. Entering the courtyard, Tang San heard whistling winds. The Wang brothers were sparring. The three fought chaotically, not using wind blade, relying on their enhanced wind wolf transformation bodies, seeking openings to strike. Ling Mushui watched eagerly, cyan light flickering in her hands as she practiced wind element control. Seeing Tang San, her eyes lit up, and she ran over. Tang San, you're back. He smiled, nodding. They're training hard. Yeah, teacher told us to practice combat while he was gone. It helps us master wind wolf transformation, she said, smiling. Tang San nodded, clapping his hands to get the brothers' attention. They stopped, looking at him. You're progressing too slowly, he said, shaking his head. The brothers froze. Tang San, the youngest, rarely joined combat training, as Wang Yangfeng deemed him too young. Quiet and reserved, he'd only shown wind blade once early on. Back then, the brothers barely understood the world. After a year under Wang Yangfeng, they knew more. Wang Zhaolei snorted. Too slow. Look at my agility. Still in wind wolf form, he lunged at Tang San, claw swiping. Ling Mushui gasped, raising a wind blade, but Tang San stopped her. In a flash, Tang San darted forward. Wang Zhaolei, meaning only to scare him, was shocked as Tang San charged. He tried to pull back, but Tang San was already past his claws. Though young, Wang Zhaolei was tall, nearly matching Wang Chao. Tang San's right hand hooked his neck, spinning. Wang Zhaolei felt himself whipped around, flung sideways, and crashed to the ground with a thud. Chapter 45, time waits for no one. Under wind wolf transformation, Wang Zhaolei's physical prowess was impressive, but as he hit the ground, he sprang up, fuming, that's cheating. A sneak attack. Tang San said calmly, on a battlefield, your throat would have been slit. Wang Chao and Wang Zhong exchanged glances. Wang Chao asked, what's with you today, Tang San? Tang San replied, nothing. I just think you should grow faster. All three of you, come at me, I'll train with you. Wang Chao gaped, are you crazy? Before he could finish, cyan light flickered in Tang San's hands, and two wind blades shot toward him and Wang Zhong. Wang Zhong, always alert, reacted instantly, dodging the blade with a swift leap, charging at Tang San. Bang! The dodged wind blade exploded, the shockwave tilting Wang Zhong's lunge. The other blade also burst, disrupting Wang Chao's attempt to counter with his own wind blade, forcing him back a step. Get him! Wang Zhaolei roared, charging again. Tang San turned, his step shifting, meeting Wang Zhaolei head-on. When Wang Yangfeng returned after reporting, he found the Wang brothers sprawled on the ground, panting heavily, Wang Zhaolei's eyes rolling back. Tang San was speaking with Ling Mushui, who looked thoughtful. What's this? Wang Yangfeng frowned, scolding, get up. Teacher, you're back. Wang Zhaolei sat up, nearly crying. Tang San beat us up. Are you biased? Why is he so strong? It hurts. Wang Yangfeng stared at Tang San. Tang San said calmly, I just think they need to grow faster, or they might not become vassals. Wang Yangfeng was speechless. He'd just told Tang San to stay low-key on the way back. Tang San had his reasons. Without meeting Mei Gongzi, he'd have stayed discreet, hiding his strength. But now, nothing mattered more than reaching her side. He also considered how to leave Wind Wolf Town, not alone, but with all the vassals. Jiali City was safer than here, and Wang Yangfeng had given him more than knowledge. Relocating everyone required strength, opportunity, and a valid reason. Burning with resolve, he started by pushing the Wang brothers and Ling Mushui to grow quickly. The brothers looked at Tang San like he was a monster. They couldn't fathom their youngest brother's combat prowess. Wang Yangfeng glanced between them and Tang San, then said, starting tomorrow, Tang San joins combat training. What? The brothers gasped. Tang San, come with me, Wang Yangfeng said, leading him upstairs. What's going on? He asked. The Jiali trip had changed his view of Tang San, not just for his combat ability but his meticulous planning. From masking his face to feigning defeat and escaping, Tang San left no openings for the flash leopards. No child should think so thoroughly. I want to help them grow faster, Tang San said frankly. Wang Yangfeng frowned. What are you planning? To help them secure vassal status, Tang San replied. Teacher, can you get me Wind Wolf Town's data, population, ages, strengths, the more detailed, the better. I want to analyze our opponents. Analyze opponents. Wang Yangfeng was startled. Yes, Tang San nodded earnestly. Just that. Wang Yangfeng sensed more. Know yourself and your enemy, and you'll never lose, Tang San said. The vassal exam in 2 years is life or death. Preparation is critical. All right, I'll get it. Keep your strength hidden and stay inside, Wang Yangfeng warned. Got it, Tang San assured. Back in his room, Wang Zhong was on his bed. Why are you so strong? Wang Zhong jumped up, staring intensely. Talent plus effort, Tang San replied. As Wang Zhong opened his mouth, Tang San added, want to learn the footwork I used today. Wang Zhong recalled Tang San's ghostly movements, untouchable despite their efforts. Yes, he said eagerly. I'll teach you. From that day, Tang San joined combat training, but Wang Yangfeng stepped back. Tang San tailored his guidance, ghost shadow perplexing step for the lean, resilient Wang Zhong, controlling crane, capturing dragon for the sturdy Wang Chao, and mysterious jade hand for Wang Jiali. These 3 techniques from his past life required mysterious heaven technique, but he couldn't teach it here. He tried guiding Ling Mushui to cultivate it, but her wind wolf bloodline interfered, nearly causing chaos. This might be due to the technique's nature. He couldn't test it on unawakened humans yet. Instead, he adapted the techniques to their wind wolf bloodline, simplifying them for use with wind wolf transformation. Ling Mushui also learned ghost shadow perplexing step. Among the 4, Ling Mushui had the best talent and progressed fastest, though her physical strength lagged behind the brothers. Their bloodlines were weak, inherited from less powerful wolf demons. Still, under Tang San's guidance, their strength soared. Chapter 46, Wilderness Training. As night fell, Tang San silently slipped out through the window, climbing onto the roof of the 2-story building. He sat cross-legged, his eyes glinting with faint golden light, indicating he was activating Ling Shi Heart Eye, not purple demon eyes. Instantly, his world transformed, with colorful elements vividly appearing in his vision. Recently, his practice with Ling Shi Heart Eye had deepened his understanding, enhancing both his mental strength and purple demon eyes. If only he could see Jiali City from here. Mei Gongzi's image flashed in his mind, warming his heart. His mental energy rippled, guiding cyan wind elements toward the building below. With Ling Shi Heart Eye's guidance, he could sense and direct these elements. The wind elements inside the building grew denser, a method Tang San used to accelerate everyone's cultivation. A cyan glow gathered in his outstretched right palm, flickering as compressed wind elements formed. This resonated with his wind wolf bloodline power, his mind filled with insights into wind's properties and changes. For humans to rise in this world, they needed their own power. Demon god transformation relied on monster bloodlines, not humanity's own. Only by finding a way for humans to cultivate independently could they stand firm. As his strength grew, Tang San's understanding of this world's power system deepened. The spiritual energy here was abundant, unlike anything he'd seen. Falon Star, a mere planet, not a divine realm, had spiritual energy nearly rivaling divine realms. Immortal Chi Jiali City's energy was even denser than Wind Wolf Town's, likely due to some aggregation method. However, this world's spiritual energy was domineering, constrained by a powerful planar force that limited his mysterious heaven technique's breakthroughs. This plane favored the monster tribe, granting them intelligence and innate abilities. Humans and other vassal races received no such favor, restricting their cultivation. Thus, humans had to rely on the monster and spirit tribes, leading to demon god transformation. Breaking this planar suppression would require Tang San to regain his past life's peak strength. But reaching god tier here was uncertain, and doing so would expose him to the planar lord, making higher growth perilous. This plane was a double-edged sword. Its rich spiritual energy accelerated his cultivation beyond his past life, but breaking through to god tier was immensely difficult. Sensing the building below brimming with wind elements, Tang San quietly descended. Instead of returning to his room, he slipped out of Wind Wolf Town. Entering the forest, he took a deep breath, accelerating with cyan light enveloping him. Wind elements propelled his body, making him a cyan shadow darting through the trees. With Ling Shi Heart Eye's aid, he nimbly avoided trees, maintaining high speed. After half an hour of sprinting, he stopped, marking a tree trunk before returning. He was testing his speed. Normally, Wind Wolf Town to Jiali City took 3 days. How long would it take at full speed? He couldn't leave easily, not even a vassal yet. So, he trained his speed to reach Jiali City faster, even just to see her. His most desired ability was flight. With it, the 3-day journey could take half a day, arriving by midnight if he left at dusk. Unfortunately, he hadn't gained flight at the tournament. The white-headed falcon's ability was eagle eye, not flight, which was a physical trait. Without true falcon bloodline, his mysterious heaven technique couldn't enable it. On the return, he pondered this. Without transformation, future risks loomed in big cities. If monsters demanded he transform during vassal tests, what then? Initially, he dismissed demon god transformation. Why become a monster? But the prospect of flying to see Mei Gongzi changed his view. Back in Wind Wolf Town, he sat cross-legged on his bed, cultivating. Recent devourings and training had pushed his mysterious heaven technique to the 4th tier peak, hitting another bottleneck. As expected, he'd need stronger Wind Wolf bloodline power to reach 5th tier. At 5th tier, he'd have some self-preservation ability. Focusing inward, he saw 4 imprints glowing in his technique. Wind Blade, the brightest at 4th tier. Ling Shi Heart Eye, also 4th tier. Heavy Armor Technique, and Leopard Flash, dimmer at 3rd tier after detachment. These imprints granted monster skills, activated by channeling his technique's energy. Could he achieve a partial demon god transformation? He'd been exploring this, trying short-term bloodline fusion with imprints. But during fusion, his technique quickly withdrew the bloodline power, as if the imprints could only exist separately, not truly merge with his bloodline. A trace of fatigue crept into his mental world. He realized he'd kept Ling Shi Heart Eye half activated on the return, enhancing perception without external observation, keeping his mind clear and thoughts sharp with minimal energy cost. As he prepared to deactivate it, he sensed movement upstairs. Chapter 47, Redemption, Tiger Masked Man updated to this point, Tang San Nier's reunion with Xiao Wu. Upstairs lived Wang Yangfeng and his wife, Chu Jing. Having lived together so long, Tang San was familiar with their usual sounds, but just now, he sensed more than 2 people. Instantly alert, he glanced at Wang Zhong, oblivious in meditation, and rose, opening the window. Activating Ling Shi Heart Eye fully, his world turned colorful. He sensed wind elements denser than usual, clearly mobilized for combat, not cultivation. Without hesitation, he climbed the outer wall to the 2nd floor. In moments, he reached the window outside. The window was open. Inside, 3 figures stood in a silent standoff. Wang Yangfeng and Chu Jing had activated Wind Wolf transformation. To Tang San's surprise, Chu Jing, usually gentle and caring, radiated 4th tier strength. Her transformation was subtler than Wang Yangfeng's, standing slightly behind him. Opposite them was a tall man in black, wearing a peculiar tiger patterned mask with blue stripes. Brother Wang, no need to be tense, the tiger masked man said, raising his hands to calm them. Though not transformed, his aura surpassed the couple's, at least 5th tier. A 5th tier human, Tang San held his breath, concealing his presence expertly without using his imprints. Who are you? Wang Yangfeng asked warily. The tiger masked man chuckled. We exist to save humanity, born for its rise. Wang Yangfeng's pupils contracted. Redemption. Tang San, outside, had suspected as much, but hearing redemption from Wang Yangfeng's lips sent a jolt through him. Had redemption found them? When Wang Yangfeng began teaching them, Tang San wondered if he was linked to redemption. Few humans reached 4th tier. Now, it seemed Wang Yangfeng knew of redemption but wasn't part of it. Hearing redemption, the tiger masked man nodded slightly. Correct, it's as Gui Gui told me where you live. At Gui Gui, Wang Yangfeng froze, his tension unrelenting, growing warier. The tiger masked man said concisely, she's one of us, you must have guessed. Without our help, could you have settled in Jiali City? Wang Yangfeng took a deep breath, retracting his claws. What do you want? He asked quietly, Chu Jing looking puzzled beside him. The tiger masked man lowered his voice. Our people struggle to survive on Fairy Continent. Most can't even awaken their minds, enslaved by them. What are your thoughts, brother Wang? Wang Yangfeng smiled bitterly. What can I think? The monster and spirit tribes are too powerful to overthrow. The tiger masked man paused, then asked, do you know how redemption began? Wang Yangfeng, confused by the shift, shook his head. The man's voice grew deeper. Those of us with demon god transformation have no mothers. The desire for vengeance for them brought us together. Redemption's wish was that one day, our children could have mothers. His words struck Wang Yangfeng, Chu Jing, and Tang San deeply. Chu Jing's eyes reddened. Indeed, humans with demon god transformation rarely had mothers. Only if both parents were vassals might a child have one, but the first generation with this power had no such chance. Their mothers were brutally killed upon their awakening. The tiger masked man continued, when I awakened, I was lost. After gaining awareness, I thought if my mother didn't have to die, I could stay with her. I'd rather forego this power, remain unawakened, just to be with her, even in ignorance. This thought filled me with pain and boundless hatred. Her face is a blur, I can't recall it, nor find her remains. Every redemption member is a vengeful one. Yes, you're right, the monster and spirit tribes are mighty. What can our meager strength do? Overthrow them. It's unrealistic now, but does that mean we don't resist? Let them slaughter our kin. Did you know, in some large monster clans, our secretly awakened women approach monsters, bearing children with demon god transformation, knowing they'll die when their child awakens. One mother told us to take her child after her death, to join redemption, not for vengeance, but for a sliver of hope for humanity. Wang Yangfeng listened silently, releasing his transformation, his face calm. Why tell me this? I've seen worse. And then, the tiger masked man said. You've grown numb. What else? Wang Yangfeng replied coolly. Join us, save more people, the man urged. Save more. Wang Yangfeng gave a self-deprecating smile. You know demon god transformation's limits. Our bloodlines weaken with each generation. What can you do beyond assassinations? The tiger masked man said gravely. I thought the same when I joined, seeking only vengeance. But redemption is more. We're building our own world. I can't say more, but our goal isn't killing monsters or becoming assassins, it's for humans to live better. Our power is limited, but with effort, we'll see dawn. Wang Yangfeng trembled at building our own world. Do you know the consequences of joining redemption if discovered? He asked, frowning. Chapter 48, Tang San's condition. The tiger masked man nodded. Of course I know, but in recent decades, have you heard of any redemption member being caught and implicating others? Wang Yangfeng froze. His knowledge of redemption was limited. Gui Gui is one of us, the tiger masked man continued. Over the years, redemption has developed strict rules. Every member's identity and mission are meticulously planned to ensure safety. Yes, we have an assassination division, but it's not our only one. We also have a structured intelligence network. Human blood and belief unite as some may turn traitor after awakening demon god transformation, but most choose to remain human, as monsters and spirits never truly accept us. Wang Yangfeng took a deep breath. If I join, what do you need from me? This visit has two purposes, the man said. First, we hope you'll join. You don't need to do much, just continue managing the vassals here, increasing their numbers, guiding their awakening, and instilling our ideals. That should be easy, as you're already doing it. Wang Yangfeng relaxed slightly, nodding. In the second, he asked. I heard from Gui Gui about your exceptional disciple, the man said. A child with 4th tier strength at such a young age. The organization wants to nurture him. I'm here to take him. Wang Yangfeng's heart tightened. You mean Tang San? He inwardly cursed Gui Gui for not warning him. He's still young, not even a vassal yet. Wang Yangfeng began. The tiger masked man waved dismissively. Don't worry, the organization will handle that. But whether he's worthy of our full support depends on his potential. I need to test him. Wang Yangfeng's voice hardened. What if I refuse to join? Then it's fine, the man replied. Given your bond with Gui Gui and the fact that betraying us gains you nothing, I trust you'll keep our secret. But if I confirm the child's potential, I'll take him regardless. How will you test him? At that moment, a figure landed lightly in the room, closing the window behind him, Tang San. The tiger masked man instinctively raised his hand at Tang San's entrance but paused at his words, surprise flashing in his eyes. He hadn't sensed Tang San's presence before. This 8 or 9-year-old hid so well, and his discovery of the man suggested keen perception. Tang San, come here, Wang Yangfeng beckoned. Tang San joined Wang Yangfeng and Chu Jing. The tiger masked man didn't intervene, studying Tang San intently. The test is simple, combat, the man said, smiling. Last 1 minute against me, and you pass. For some reason, meeting Tang San's clear, restrained gaze gave him a premonition, this child would surprise him. I'll join you, but I have a condition, Tang San said. Oh, the tiger masked man looked intrigued. Tang San's tone was unlike a child's. What condition? You seem confident, though you haven't passed my test. Ignoring the challenge, Tang San stated, I want your training to be in Jiali City, with a secure, legitimate identity. From the conversation, Tang San gained insight into redemption. The organization wasn't powerful, and their goals, though noble, were daunting. But the man's arrival offered a chance to leave sooner. Without it, he'd need to wait over a year for vassal status. Reaching Jiali City early meant being near her, nothing was more important. The organization will handle your identity, the man said. But why Jiali City? Tang San hesitated, then said, because Aunt Gui is there. Why join us? The man pressed. Tang San's head snapped up, his voice firm. Revenge, my mother. His lips tightened, eyes blazing with hatred. This wasn't entirely an act. At 9, he needed to show some childlike traits to avoid suspicion. His desire for vengeance was genuine. The tiger masked man sighed. I support your revenge, child. But don't let hatred blind you. Redemption has greater goals. Tang San nodded silently. I know. For now, revenge is my reason to join. Agree to my condition, and I'm in. The man nodded. Fine, but first, pass the test. Then we'll discuss conditions. Tang San understood. The man needed to see his potential. He'd suspected Gui Gui's connection to redemption in Jiali City. Few vassals owned businesses there, except Mei Gongzi's milk tea shop and Gui Gui's inn. Mei Gongzi's shop, in Jiali's core, was untouched by monsters, hinting at its uniqueness. Gui Gui's inn, serving human vassals, also raised questions. Was it backed by a major force? Unlikely, given her tie to Wang Yangfeng. Redemption was the likelier answer. Tang San had factored Gui Gui into his tournament plan, performing partly for her. Redemption's arrival wasn't surprising, it was what he'd hoped for. Securing an identity and reaching Jiali City alone or with Wang Yangfeng was tough. Redemption, though not strong, had survived as humanity's only resistant group, with resources Tang San needed. His tournament participation wasn't impulsive but calculated. Chapter 49, 100 Birds to the Forest. The tiger masked man's arrival came sooner than Tang San expected, but his goal was achieved. At the same time, Tang San realized Redemption wasn't a strong organization. A truly powerful and disciplined group wouldn't approach so hastily, they'd observe him covertly. Their urgency stemmed from a desperate need for talent, and his fourth-tier strength at such a young age made him impossible to overlook. A faint smile appeared on Tang San's face. He nodded and said, "Can we begin?" The tiger-masked man narrowed his eyes, glancing at Wang Yangfeng and his wife. Wang Yangfeng pulled Chu Jing back, clearing the small space in the room. Just as the tiger-masked man was about to speak, he sensed danger. A cyan flash, a wind blade, shot toward him. The blade, though small, was dense, its usual pale cyan turned deep teal, razor sharp. The tiger-masked man swiftly raised his hand to grab it, but something shocking happened. The blade, inches from him, abruptly halted, defying motion's logic. His hand, covered in patterned fur and enlarged, grasped only air. In that instant, the teal wind blade accelerated again, reaching his face. Unable to dodge, the tiger-masked man let out a low roar. A blast of air shattered the blade, but his mask cracked and broke. He'd taken a slight loss. Wang Yangfeng, watching, saw clearly, Tang San had set two blades. The first spun rapidly, allowing it to hover mid-air, a technique Tang San had practiced with him. Even Wang Yangfeng couldn't control it so precisely. The second blade struck the first, both exploding into smaller shards, creating a blanket attack. Had the tiger-masked man's roar not dispersed some, the damage would have been greater. With his mask gone, the man's resolute face showed shock. Then, two more wind blades shot from Tang San's hands. His eyes sharpened, deep blue light radiating as the room's temperature dropped. Dense blue fur covered his hands, his arms thickening. His demon god transformation affected only his hands and arms, leaving the rest unchanged. The blades seemed to miss, arcing past his sides, but he remained vigilant, sensing they'd curve toward his back. Both the hovering and arcing blades amazed him. When Gui Gui reported Tang San's feats, defeating multiple fourth-tier monsters at 9, he'd been skeptical. Now, he believed, such skill was astounding. If Wang Yangfeng taught this, he was remarkable. But Tang San's youth meant greater potential. As thoughts raced, Tang San kept firing silent wind blades, unpredictable yet threatening. The first two blades didn't hit his back as expected, passing a foot away. The ice shield he'd formed behind was useless. Tang San unleashed 12 blades, cyan light swirling the room, circling the tiger-masked man without damaging anything. This unique control was a first for the man he chose to strike. His eyes turned deep blue, icy mist swirling around his tiger paws. With a tap, his aura surged, the room's temperature plummeting as ice armor formed on him. Ignoring the blades, he lunged at Tang San with a swift tiger pounce. The circling blades reacted instantly, shooting toward him. He pressed forward, his ice armor thickening. As he neared Tang San, the boy vanished like a phantom. As Tang San dodged, the blade struck. Wang Yangfeng and Chu Jing watched, stunned. The 12 scattered blades aligned in a row, striking the same spot on the man's back. This was the 100 birds to the forest technique. Tang San's mental strength couldn't control 100 blades yet, but 12 were manageable. The technique focused scattered attacks into one point against strong defenses. Even normal blades would hurt in 12 consecutive hits, let alone Tang San's compressed ones. Bang! The first blade exploded. As the man tried to turn, the second hit. Two blades staggered him, the third and fourth followed. Cyan flashes and ice mist burst as his armor cracked under relentless strikes. He couldn't even turn. Shocked but helpless, he felt his armor breaking by the fifth blade. He poured bloodline power into reinforcing it, but the barrage pushed him forward. Tang San sensed that by the ninth blade, the man hit the wall, his armor shattering. The final three blades dissipated silently. Wind and ice elements swirled in the room, like a blizzard had passed. The man, against the wall, felt stinging pain in his back and churning blood in his chest, momentarily overwhelmed. He turned, his body transformed. By the seventh blade, he'd fully activated demon god transformation, growing to 2.5 meters, covered in dark blue tiger fur. Chapter 50, I taught him. The tiger-masked man turned, his vertical pupils fixed on Tang San, who now stood where the man had started. A fifth tier facing a fourth tier, yet suppressed by a barrage of wind blades with little chance to resist. More strikingly, not all 12 blades had hit, only 9. If all 12 had struck, the ninth blade had shattered his defenses. Further strikes would have pierced even his fur. How Tang San achieved this was secondary, the power of each blade was beyond what a typical fourth-tier wind wolf could muster. The tiger-masked man now understood that this child's talent far exceeded Gui Gui's description. Tang San didn't press the attack, his hands resting calmly at his sides, gazing steadily at the man. Is that enough? The tiger-masked man took a deep breath and nodded slowly. He had more techniques and, if pushed to the limit, was confident he could defeat Tang San. But that would exceed the test's purpose. Whether Tang San shared that confidence was unclear. Who taught you to control wind blades like that? He asked gravely. Tang San glanced at Wang Yangfeng. Wang Yangfeng's heart twitched. I taught him. Since when? But he caught Tang San's intent and nodded. This child's comprehension is exceptional. I only guided him slightly, and he developed his own ideas. His wind blade control now surpasses mine. The tiger-masked man nodded silently, elevating his regard for Wang Yangfeng. Teaching such a disciple, even with modest cultivation, was remarkable. Your conditions should be fine, the man said. I'll take you to Jiali City to settle. I need to report your situation for further arrangements. He nodded to Wang Yangfeng, then dashed to the window, leaping into the darkness. His arrival and departure were abrupt. Wang Yangfeng had expected more discussion after Tang San's agreement in passing the test, but the man left suddenly. Wang Yangfeng shot Tang San a questioning look. His feelings toward the boy were mixed. The 100 birds to the forest technique with the wind blades was astonishing. Wind blades could be used like that. He didn't know Tang San kept wind blade for two reasons: to mask his identity with wind wolf bloodline and to maximize his Tang sect hidden weapon techniques. 100 birds to the forest was just the basics. Even Tang San found it curious. On Douluo continent, he relied on mechanical hidden weapons early on to establish himself. Here, the fairy continent's dense spiritual energy and demon god transformation's uniqueness let him fully unleash Tang sect's inner techniques. Outside Wind Wolf Town, in the forest, the tiger-masked man stopped, coughing up a bit of blood, finally easing his breath. Why had he left so quickly? He couldn't stay without spitting blood in front of them, too humiliating. A fifth tier beaten to this state by a fourth tier with a weaker wind wolf bloodline. He'd be too ashamed to admit it even now, he was stunned. A 9-year-old controlling wind blades with such power and precision was beyond talent, it was prodigious. The blades seemed tailored for Tang San. A plan was needed to bring Tang San into the organization for nurturing. He could become a high-tier powerhouse, vital and rare for redemption. With that thought, he sped off. In the wooden house, Wang Yangfeng sent Chu Jing to rest, taking Tang San to their usual meditation room. Are you really joining redemption? For revenge? He asked solemnly. Tang San paused, then said, Teacher, I want to see the outside world and grow stronger. I want revenge. That redemption member spoke of hope for humanity, and I think he's right. Wang Yangfeng sighed. Gui Gui urged me to join redemption long ago. I knew she was a member, but I didn't agree, wanting to protect our hard-earned peace. I understand the grand ideals, but I'm a coward, just wanting to live quietly with your teacher's wife. I'm sorry, teacher, for causing trouble, Tang San said, lowering his head. Wang Yangfeng smiled, shaking his head. It's not your fault. What's meant to come will. Your maturity surpasses your peers, and I trust your choice. With your talent, redemption is right for you. I, too, hope for humanity's rise, but I'll likely stay here. You should spread your wings and soar. I hope in my lifetime to see even a spark of hope for humanity. There will be, definitely, Tang San nodded firmly. Their conversation ended there. Back in his room, Tang San reflected. Events unfolded as expected, within his plan. Redemption had come, and he'd passed their test. He wasn't too worried about how they'd get him to Jiali City. If they could have managed it, redemption wasn't worth joining. Mei Gongzi's youthful face appeared in his mind, softening his gaze. His plan had two paths. The first, if redemption didn't come, was to cultivate steadily, gain vassal status, and find a way to Jiali City. The issue was leaving without implicating others. Destroying Wind Wolf Town was possible, but what about the vassals? Would they suffer for his actions? The second, ideal scenario was redemption's arrival. With their resources, getting him to Jiali City was feasible, and they could handle any issues. Tang San lacked not just knowledge but influence in this world. Things were moving in the better direction he'd envisioned. Now, he awaited how redemption would extract a young slave like him.